Oh, hi. I'm a smart investor. I dare say that because I understand the cryptocurrency markets and I am up to date on every new development, fintech and blockchain ecosystem. All because I watch the Inside Blockchain show on Crypto TV Plus. Every Monday morning, Crypto TV Plus brings you news headlines of top stories, interview with an expert, and give you detailed market analysis to enable you make the right business moves. Now you too can become a smart investor if you don't miss it. The Inside Blockchain show, only on Crypto TV Plus.
Are you there? It's your boy. No, sorry, it's your daddy, Mr. Macaroni. Keep watching Crypto TV Plus if you want to be doing well, especially. You get me now? Alright, you're doing well.
Hello and welcome to the program. This is Inside Blockchain Live on Crypto TV Plus. My name is Faith Ekwari. It's another Monday morning. Before we kickstart the conversation, if this is your first time on the show, do well to follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Crypto TV Plus. Click on the bell icon to stay updated whenever we release a new video. Now, the crypto, blockchain and tech space is set for an evolution as the Nigerian Startup Bill has been signed into law by President Muhammad Buhari. Now, the first draft of the Nigerian Startup Bill was produced in July 2021 and since then has gone through different stages of debate and reviews. In August 2021, the presidential announcement and town hall meetings took place for public consultation and validation of the second draft of the bill. Now, in October 2021, the bill was submitted to the president, who then submitted an executive bill to the National Assembly. In December, the bill was sent to the National Assembly. Then in July 2021, the Senate approved the bill and then it passed the third hearing at the country's House of Representatives. And finally, the bill was signed into law by President Buhari on the 19th of October. Now, the process made it what it is today, and it has undoubtedly become a raving topic in the tech space in and out of the country, as the bill is set to provide an enabling environment for the establishment, development and operation of startups in Nigeria, and to also provide the development and growth of technology related talent and position Nigeria's startup ecosystem as the leading digital technology center in Africa. Now, having excellent innovators with cutting edge skills and exportable capacity. Now, today we'll be discussing the impact of the Nigerian Startup Bill in the crypto and blockchain space. This is going to be really interesting discussion because I have a lot for you guys. You want to stick around for it. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest and we'll get into the conversation. Be right back. Come closer. Come closer. Are you curious on what NFTs are? I got you on the 100. Join the buzz as the Let's Talk NFTs is coming to your screen every Wednesday, 9 a.m. on Crypto TV Plus, as we bring life and vibes to everything NFTs. Don't dull, let's buzz.
Stop for a second and think of a platform that offers gamers the opportunity to play all kinds of games, from board games to video games and competition streaming. Offers gamers a pension plan, a mortgage plan, an NFT marketplace, a gamer wallet, and an immersive 3D world. If you can find one, let me know. Oh wait, I have one and I'm so ready to talk about it in this video. Hey guys, welcome into the metaverse on Crypto TV Plus.
Don't get stuck in the past. Get all the latest news and happenings on blockchain and cryptocurrency, only on Crypto TV Plus.
Hello, my name is Chiki and I'm the boy of the bullet.
Keep watching Crypto TV Plus.
Don't touch that. Peace.
Welcome back, everyone tuning in from around the world. This is Inside Blockchain. My name is Faith Ekwari. If you're watching us for the first time, do what to follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Crypto TV Plus. Click on the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release a new video. Now, today we'll discuss the impact of the Nigerian Startup Bill in the crypto and blockchain ecosystem. To join in the conversation are men of of honor. Today, presently in the studio with us is the community lead at Emurgo Africa, is also the VP Media and Publicity at the Stakeholders in Blockchain Technology Association of Nigeria, SiBAN. He is Chukwuemeka Ezike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the conversation, let me introduce my other guest. I have Victor Famubode, the project manager for Nigerian Startup Act. Victor, thank you for joining in today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing. And lastly, we have Muhammad Ibrahim Jega, who is the co-founder at Dominion Blockchain Solutions Limited. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Inside Blockchain Show. Amazing. So let's talk about your the event before we get into the startup, bill conversation. Let's talk about the blockchain event that's happening on the 26th of October, and we're just hours away from blockchain, day. Let's talk about it. What is it all about?
The event is organized by NIDA, National Information Technology Development Agency, under Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. What is very interesting is that this year's theme is about digital transformation, a path to sustainable digital economy. This has been chosen to stimulate discussion on how economy could take advantage of digital technologies to create value. And also the objective is to promote digital transformation, digital inclusion, emerging technologies, data protection, innovation, and entrepreneurship in Nigeria. One of the exciting things is that NIDA has seen the importance of blockchain, where they carve out a day, make it a national blockchain day, which we've been, for us, it's an honor for the government and to create a day for that. So for us to come and discuss about how to scale blockchain ecosystem with its opportunities and best use cases in Africa and around the globe. The focus is going to be on Nigeria, because Nigeria is one of the most blessed countries with talented people and with continent over 200 million people. Even though, we understand that the blockchain day is targeted to host around 2,000 people, but now we have over 4,000 registered people that have confirmed because of how important it is. The conference is going to provide platform for networking opportunities and also for co-creation of collaboration around sharing experiences, mentorship, knowledge sharing, and also stimulating conversation around emerging technologies that could be able to do that. But one of the things is that the conference is going to be power-packed avenue because there's going to be a lot of keynote speakers. We have confirmed 14 international speakers for that conference, which 8 are foreigners and 6 are Nigerians in diaspora who are doing amazingly well, want to come and see how they could be able to connect, encourage, and also train our young people. Because over the years, it's been obvious that there's been blockchain adoption Nigeria has been the forefront on that adoption. And because Nigeria has shown that it's been on the front runner as the giant of Africa, because that's how we proudly call it. But there's a lot we need to do in terms of making those impact on that adoption of blockchain technology innovation. So we've been motivated to see how to create engagement, collaboration, discussion and conversation around different areas of blockchain, how blockchain can stimulate and also optimize processes in the government and also in businesses in different sectors of the economy. So we are happy that the government is giving us a very big seat to come and sit down. We're bringing the players there, we're bringing the academia there so that we can all converge and discuss, but showcasing some of the success stories around the blockchain space and the finance and the supply chain and security in smart cities and whatever you can imagine, e-health. So there's a lot of amazing, resourceful minds who have been doing things in the blockchain space that we brought in to come and discuss and tell us how did they make it happen? What are the dynamics about it? So that we can take out that fear about when people hear blockchain, they think it's about crypto because they don't understand crypto is just a product of blockchain. So that's it, because blockchain is a technology that houses crypto, and many various ideas. And so it's also important for us to demystify that and also enable people, young people, to take a proper grasp and also expose themselves on the game-changing technology and take advantage of its numerous opportunities it presents.
Amazing. When you were talking about, what the blockchain day was all about, you talked about networking. What else should attendees be expecting from the event?
Yeah, there's going to be a workshop after the event, which the speakers are going to engage with the participants to engage them to understand, because there's a lot of interest from the feedback we got online. A lot of people want to understand how they go, what are the verifiable platform they can do for remittances, for trading, and for peer-to-peer transactions and what have you. So we're trying to make sure that we guide them so that they will not go into the wrong hands. So there's going to be a workshop which will involve the speakers. Major speakers are going to engage the audience, talk to them about different areas, take feedbacks, questions, and also advise them about their interests. So we're looking at developers, startups, tech entrepreneurs, and also business owners, as well as the government as an academia. Why? Because developers who are building things want to understand what are the right platform for them to build their solutions. Just like what Dominion is, its mandate is. Dominion is a BaaS company. It's a blockchain as a service company. So we help government and businesses transition from traditional data to blockchain data. So most importantly, most businesses that want to transition from traditional data to blockchain data, we need to advise them carefully on which platform to use that has a backing that will give them the right support in terms of value proposition. Secondly, for tech enthusiasts who are very anticipating and happy and excited, overwhelmed about blockchain, who have seen the evolution of blockchain and want to see how they could be able to tap into that, we need to guide them on the areas that they need to go into, whether they want to go into the financial part, whether they want to go into the development part, whether they want to go into the training part, to understand how they could use blockchain and how they can build their capacity, upskill themselves, and learn around it, as well as the government. Yes, blockchain is coming. We can shy away from it. And we've seen how the transformation is going in other regions, as well as Dubai and other countries. So we need to also try and encourage, educate our government, different departments, to understand why they need to move their data on blockchain, why blockchain is the most trusted, most transparent, that will give confidence to users and also other strategic users to be able to integrate into it. Then, as well as business owners, a lot of businesses are doing things, are very excited about how they could be able to move their businesses onto that blockchain ecosystem. There's a lot of opportunities in there because blockchain cuts across different verticals and different business areas. Whether you are in a supply chain, whether in the fintech or the e-commerce, it applies to you. There's a different application that can be used to help you build on that. So we just want to see how we could be able to encourage Nigerians, give them a sense of belonging, give them this comfort and understanding, and also touch around the gray areas. So for we, it's a big honor that NIDA and Minister of Communication has given Dominion to host this event, a national event, a national blockchain day, which first of its kind in the history of Africa. No government has taken blockchain so important, about a day for it in a very important month. So for us, it's a big win.
Amazing. Lastly, before you go, let's know what is the future of the roadmap, of blockchain days in, coming events, driving the adoption and education of crypto and blockchain, in Nigeria, Africa, and the world in general.
The future is very bright. That's why I'm very excited about the move that NIDA is doing in terms of capitalizing on that. And I've had the DG on several occasions. He was at CoinGig event in Dubai in February. He spoke categorically about his interest about blockchain, that he is a blockchain advocate, and he's very passionate around seeing businesses and governments in Nigeria transition into blockchain. And he wants to be on the #1 driver's seat to make sure that he pushes and encourages blockchain adoption in Nigeria. And I've seen it happening. This is practically it, because for him to give a day, for us to host a blockchain day, to bring critical stakeholders, industry players, exchanges, protocols, everybody is coming to come as students, academia, to come and discuss. It's a right step in the right direction. That is one move. Second move is that there's going to be a training for blockchain training to train blockchain developers. And there is a mandate to train 30,000 Nigerians this year on blockchain. That's a big win. It's part of the take home that is going to come after the blockchain day. And I'm just giving you a very good tips on our iceberg information about things that are going to come up. There's a lot of things. There's a blockchain adoption strategy, which the NIDA is working on, and it's going very fast, which we want to bring in all industries players to come and look at it and advise critically, because the door is open. Government cannot do it alone. Government needs the industry to sit down, advise, and tell them what are the areas that they feel, what are the impacts, what are the things that need to put incentives around the blockchain to encourage blockchain developers, to encourage business blockchain founders, to encourage blockchain businesses, and also so that we can have some very big success stories in Nigeria. And it's really happening and exciting for us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim Jega, for joining us today. I know you're very busy, and I hope that the blockchain day turns out amazing as you expect it to be. So we're looking forward to the blockchain day. We're going to be, covering it at Crypto TV Plus, and we can't wait to see more that Dominion blockchain has to offer. Yes, amazing. Thank you so much. If you're just joining in, we're going to still be talking about the Startup Act and in Nigeria, and we have Chukwuemeka and Victor to help us understand what the Startup Bill is all about and the impact it is in Nigeria. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll be delving into the conversation.
The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, under the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, in partnership with Dominion Blockchain Solutions, a leading distributed ledger technology company in Africa, is set to host a National Digital Economy Awareness event tagged Blockchain Day. Happening on the 26th of October during the annual Digital Nigeria International Conference and Exhibition, happening from the 25th to the 27th of October 2022, with a target audience of over 2,000 blockchain enthusiasts at the International Conference Center in Abuja, Nigeria. The Blockchain Day will focus on the scaling of the blockchain ecosystem with its opportunities and best use cases in Africa and around the globe, with a focus on Nigeria. There are a lot of opportunities in blockchain, and it is crucial in every business. Talent is the human component of technology, and innovations with blockchain and emerging technologies are about the new solutions one is bringing on board. So you need to task yourself to know which solutions or offerings the industry requires. That was according to Mr. Kashifu Inuwa, Director General and CEO of NITDA, who happens to also be the host of this conference. The chief host of the event, Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim Jega, co-founder Dominion, said this: "Blockchain is a technology that houses cryptocurrency and many various ideas. It is important to demystify it, enable young people to take a proper grasp and expose themselves to this game-changing technology and take advantage of the numerous opportunities it presents." The special guest of honor to grace the conference, of course, is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, the chief host, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the host, Mr. Kashifu Inuwam Abdullahi, Director General and CEO of NITDA, with notable speakers such as Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim Jega, co-founder Dominion Blockchain Solutions, with two keynote speakers such as Ray Sharma, General Partner Parsa Ventures, and Ahmed Yusuf, lead of BSV Blockchain for Government Initiative Middle East. Other guest speakers being Ray Yusuf, founder and CEO of Paxful, Lorian Gamarov, CEO St. B, James L. Cisneros, founder and CEO of The Possibility Company, Tony Emeka, CEO Crypto TV Plus, Jimmy Ngoye, CEO Blockchain for All, and many more. The online registration for the conference is ongoing, so be sure to register and visit our website Crypto TV Plus for more.
Don't get stuck in the past. Get all the latest news and happenings on blockchain and cryptocurrency, only on Crypto TV Plus.
Hello, my name is Chiki and I'm the boy of the bullet.
Keep watching Crypto TV Plus.
Don't touch that dial. Peace.
Hello and welcome back, everyone tuning in from around the world. Before this time, we got to have Ibrahim Jega, who talked about the Blockchain Day event Right now, we're going to be getting into the impact of the startup bill in the crypto and blockchain space. To join in the conversation, here at the studio, we have Chukwuemeka Ezike, and joining us virtually, we have Victor to help us understand it. So let's start off with the first question. Now, it is exciting to know that the government is finally seeing the potential in tech and the sustained growth of the digital economy in Nigeria. Now, with the startup bill in place, which has been getting a lot of attention since it was signed by President Muhammad Buhari on the 19th of October, while I was introducing the program, I highlighted the process and, the part this bill will play in the tech, crypto, and blockchain space. However, I still want to know what's your understanding of the startup bill, and what is it out to achieve? So let's start with Chukwuemeka here before we get to Victor.
Thank you for the question, and I'll say congratulations to the DG, the Minister of Communication and Digital Transformation, and NIDA. It's a step in the right direction, and we would say the bill is perfect, but we look at the government interest in helping startup and noticing that tech could be the new oil and revenue generation, and they need to have a platform where the startups could actually grow, thrive. Then, a lot of our startup has actually migrated to register offshore because they find a more friendly launch pad across the border. For the government looking into that to create a bill that gives them that boost to incentivize their localization to start from here and go global. Even when I was looking at the bill, there was a grant for increase to help local startups export their product abroad. So it's interesting to know that this has gotten to the national level to know that, you can't ignore the startup. We have about 3 unicorns from, Africa in less than 6 years, in less than a decade. Looking at the scale which the startups grow, it's actually something that is impressive that the national, right from Aso Rock, they now see that it's very important to give that startup ecosystem a boost by creating this kind of startup bill. It's a welcome idea. Congratulations to NIDA.
Amazing. Victor, what do you have to say? What's your response to this?
All right. Thank you very much. And from what Chukwuemeka has said, he's covered, majority of what we need to clearly understand when we look at the Nigerian Startup Act. And for us, it becomes really important because when you look at, the technology startup ecosystem, you would agree with me that it is one that is heavily, driven by the youth. And this becomes really necessary for us to have like a clear and certain, regulation in place that helps to, create a better environment for startups to, grow and scale. So it becomes really important when we look at, what this act was actually designed for. And when you look at it, as what Chukwuemeka said, it's one that is, geared towards ensuring that startups can actually harness the opportunities and benefits that this act was, designed for. So it's one that is pro-growth. And that means that it clearly, identifies what the pipeline of how do we ensure that we can improve on the standards for startups to grow and also scale. There are certain items within, the act, such as the startup portal, for instance, which I think it's actually it's a novel idea from, the ecosystem players that ensure that this act came into being. The portal ensures that there's a lot of exchange between governments and, the private sector, especially those within the startup ecosystem. And this also extends to also the investors, because we know that for us to be able to thrive as a nation, we need to be able to also attract and protect investment, either it is local or foreign. So this becomes really important. And for me, I am also excited about what this act is going to accomplish as we move forward.
Amazing. I'm really going to be blunt on today's episode because the startup bill, concerns young people and the future of young people in Nigeria. So call it paranoia, but in retrospect to the other plans that the government had announced before that were not as effective as they were hyped, what makes this different? Can startups really scale in Nigeria?
Yes, startup can really scale in Nigeria. What has been affecting the startup situation in Nigeria is because we really have an ecosystem that is built to affect your growth. So let's look at what is happening in the crypto space and the regulation churned out by SiBAN. There are a lot of people who have put in resources to build localized exchange, to compete with the global market. And you wake up one morning and you create a law that affects this local exchange. A lot of them tends to shut down. So with the startup bill coming in place, they said they will have a channel whereby we could communicate with the regulators effectively. It helps to point a startup guy in the right direction to avoid him of putting out resources, and at the end someone wakes up one morning, feels bad about the ecosystem and shut down what this young generation has been building upon. It tends to become demotivating, and at the end of it they tend to sell this startup to a foreign investor, and that's why at the end you have more foreign investors building local startups. Like the likes of Paystack, Flutterwave have been more heavily invested by foreigners than our local investors. So I think the startup bill could also help bring in local investors to say, oh, the government backing is coming into the tech ecosystem, and they will be more confident in investing in local startups. So I think this could also boost localized investment and also more resources. So because the global partners will be able, like the likes of Google, Facebook, could be able to partner with government to say, okay, now you have a bill. Let's find a way we could come in and bring in resources to help this ecosystem. So I think Africa could actually build a global brand if given the right push.
And you think this startup bill is going to be different from all the promises and all the plans that have been given to us in past from the Nigerian government? Do you think this is going to be different?
So trusting the Nigerian government is not a thing I could say out there. Like the first time I saw the bill, I said, oh, this is another bill to make the people feel good. It could be something they could use for campaign and say, oh, we launched the startup bill during our own tenure, to get the young guys support or get the tech ecosystem support. So trusting the government is one thing. But I'm just saying, from the realistic view, if the government be able to follow whatever policy they are good policies. Mm-hmm. But if they're able to implement those policies and try to also look at it and iterate, because like I said, reading through the startup bill, there are some loopholes, there are a lot of faults on it.
Yeah.
But I said it's a good start. I'm not saying it's perfect. But what I'm saying is that it's a good step in the right direction. And I believe if they have people who are interested to actually, that's the problem. Are they really interested in seeing the ecosystem grow, mm-hmm. or just a feel-good approach? But I just want to believe, let's just be positive. But trusting the government to implement it is something else. I can't talk about the trust. So I'll just say about the initiation. So the initiation is a good one, but trusting the government to implement it, that I can talk about.
So young people, just be optimistic that this startup bill is going to turn out, as positive as possible. Victor, bringing it home to the crypto space, what is the impact of this startup bill in the crypto and blockchain ecosystem?
Okay, so for this ecosystem, when you look at the biggest adopters of crypto within Nigeria, you would agree that a lot of them are, startups. So what this means is there's going to be like a lot of interchange and linkages between ensuring that this kind of startups can have the necessary incentives to help them grow and, scale. Importantly, this particular act, when you also look at it, looking at NITDA, for instance, being the secretariat for this act, you would say that NITDA has been quite, progressive and bullish when it comes to ensuring that they kind of integrate, new technologies into, how best do we ensure that we can increase the adoption rate. And that is what we've been talking about, earlier on with respect to the event coming next week. So when you find that NITDA is also is in charge of ensuring that the adoption rate is much higher when you look at the crypto ecosystem, and knowing that this same agency is responsible for the secretariat as the Startup Act, that means that you can actually have a bit of confidence with the fact that same agency helping to drive the adoption level of how crypto and the blockchain ecosystem can thrive is also responsible for the Startup Act. So one would expect that there's going to be a lot of thinking around how do we ensure that the innovation within that space is catching up, with policy in a way. That policy is also trying as much as possible to catch up with the innovation in that space, even though sometimes there are always those gaps that exist. So closing those gaps is going to be very necessary. And that's one bit. Another bit is the fact that for investors that are willing to, invest in certain, let's say, crypto focused, companies or startups, that means that there's also confidence from those startups, knowing that this set of investors are willing to, put in their money in a place where we know that there is that huge growth and there is that support, from government with respect to that. And let's not forget also, for the Startup Act, there is a section that speaks to, regulatory support, ensuring that there are linkages and collaborations with certain agencies of government like the SiBAN, the SEC, which we know they are very important when we look at regulation around the blockchain crypto space. So easing the process in which certain regulations are in place, using the Startup Act as the positioning now becomes really essential, and that's some of the things that people should, those within the crypto space should actually look forward to.
Amazing, thank you. Chukwuemeka, I want you to lean on that. What do you think is the impact of this startup bill in the crypto and blockchain ecosystem?
So a lot of interest has been in the crypto space, especially in the African market. To see that the adoption of crypto is more feasible immediately with the African market. But the issue is that the government has not shown to be the backbone to support the interest of this market. So with this, a lot of people could now come in that are interested, like Emurgo Africa with Emurgo Global, which is the VC, the commercial arm of Cardano blockchain, could decide to say, okay, now there's a startup bill. How do we plug in to see how we could bring our support through the government channels? There are a lot of those silent VCs or protocol or network looking for such opportunity to come into a market. With the startup bill, with the President of the Federal Republic showing that is interested in this, it could actually give a boost to the interest of that global market coming down here to say, okay, how can we help the Web3 market, or how can we support the growth of this market, looking that the government is giving a good launchpad for this ecosystem to blow up. So I think the crypto will benefit, but another thing is that that we need to look at here, that is, was the startup bill also, did it touch to reach to the people in the crypto ecosystem to know their problems, their needs, to be able to incubate it into, or embed it into the startup bill. So I think the startup bill is more general, because the crypto space and the blockchain space has its own unique problems, and sometimes the financial need for the crypto side could be more on the high side compared to the financial need for the Web2 or the regular tech companies. So I think there is, like as Mr. Victor said, there is a gap which needs to be closed. And those gap, like I said, is just a good start, but not a perfect start, but it's a good start. But I feel the crypto space will look at ways to associate themselves with government, and at SiBAN, stakeholders in blockchain and Association of Nigeria. I think we could look for a way to find out how we could associate with the startup bill, and how we could come in as a self-regulating body to associate with government to improve the startup bill or iterate on it. But I think it's a good start we will find a way that the crypto communities could benefit from it.
Amazing. The discussion is getting really, really interesting. We'll go on another break. When we come back, we'll continue in the conversation. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Watch this magic, guys. Abracadabra. This is the ABC NFT. Let's check it out. The ABC NFT project is the type that is not trying so hard but is still getting attention. They have no Discord, no Launchpad, no minting. All was reviewed and listed on Magic Eden. The 10,000 immutable ABC NFTs have 0% royalties and are made to remind you of how fun things were when we were kids. That's before growing up.
Don't get stuck in the past. Get all the latest news and happenings on blockchain and cryptocurrency only on Crypto TV Plus.
Hello, my name is Chiki and I'm the boy of the bullet.
Keep watching Crypto TV Plus.
Don't touch that. Peace.
Welcome back. This is Inside Blockchain. We still have Chukwuemeka and Victor, who is discussing the impact of the newly signed Nigerian Startup Bill in the crypto and blockchain ecosystem. Now, right about now, let's look at some of the gridlocks and challenges that, might surface in the future. Now, I want Victor to answer this. Now, while looking through the bill, subsection 2 under section 13 states that a startup is eligible for labeling under this act when it is registered as a limited liability company under the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and has been in existence for a period of not more than 10 years from the date of incorporation. How can this work with a newly born startup? Does this look like one of the challenges that startups may face? Because when you say startup, I think of companies that are not in existence till like 2-3 years. But this loop, how are they going to walk through it, Mr. Victor?
Okay, I think there's a bit of misunderstanding about that statement, right? That particular clause. What it states is saying that for you to, for you to come out to say you want to label, what that means is you must, be a limited liability company, right? And that means that you can either be, lesser than 10 years, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in operations for 10 years. I don't know if you understand. It means that you not more than. So what that means that there's also that opportunity for you as a startup, if you are lesser than 10 years, to also, apply to become a labeled startup. And now, one very important, aspect is the fact that we also need to clear, the air around this. Now, being a labeled startup, yes, you will enjoy a lot of the benefits and opportunities that is in the act. However, if you are also not a labeled startup, you will also still benefit it. But you might not, enjoy as much benefit as the labeled startup. And the reason is because, for instance, when you look at the act, you'll see the section that speaks to, the council. And in that council, there is supposed to be like a consultative forum, which involves those within, the private sector. That's the startup as a startup founder, or you are an investor, those within that ecosystem. And they will be part of those that will help with ensuring that they serve as policy oversight to promote startups within, the ecosystem. So it becomes necessary that labeling is important. However, if you are also not labeled, you will still enjoy, you will still enjoy some of those benefits. But one thing that I would say is this act is not a magic wand that solves, all the entire problems that we will encounter within the ecosystem. But I think one thing we should consider clearly is that let's build on it. There's a lot of collaboration that is required also, and from there we'll be able to, address most of these, gaps and challenges that startups usually face.
Amazing, because I was also a little bit skeptical on that part when I read it in the bill. I was like, okay, what are they saying? Now we're going to be reading a lot of, laws, Mr. Chukwuemeka. Also, subsection 3 under section 22 of the Startup Bill states that the Secretariat may issue a framework for the development of talent and collaborate with relevant agencies and the private sector to establish digital technology innovation, parks and hubs in universities, polytechnics, and other institutions of higher learning. How do you think, because I know you talked about it, you brushed on it, how do you think, the crypto and blockchain space can take advantage of this to onboard users and drive blockchain education?
Thank you. So the startup, that is a very good initiative, because I also saw on the bill that government will be giving incentives to startups and hubs, to be able to push that talent growth and development. So for the blockchain, we have some hubs, like we have a blockchain hub, Conversity in Abuja. We have one coming up in, I think, Port Harcourt, Borderless hub. So all this hub could connect to this Startup Bill and get this incentive, I'm sure the Startup Bill will get partners from an international that could give them a framework to develop talents. And that means that this incubators or hubs could now get a proper direction on how to develop. You might be doing something right alone. You might think you're doing something right alone, but with the support of an ecosystem like this, you're getting the, the up-to-date standard of on how to do things properly. So I see this like a step in the right direction for the ecosystem. Like I said, there are a lot of benefits to tapping. It's not a perfect one, but I think if it's done properly, if those incentives come out, I hope politics don't get in, but if this is really given to the right people to develop and partner with the right people, it's going to help us build more global standard talents that will be employable globally, and before you know it, we'll have enough skill sets in this region to develop whatever we need, from e-government to social startup to solving our own unique challenges. Thank you.
Amazing. Victor, I know Chukwuemeka said a lot about, this is a very good step, this is a very good step. Do you think this is enough to build a powerful and, full-bodied tech ecosystem in Nigeria?
So I think, like we said again, this is more or less like a starting point. So what that means is we need to have in place a robust implementation. And that requires not just government, it also requires support from, the private sector. We understand that, the areas around trust is still something that we're working on. It's still work in progress. But however, what I would say is a lot of us need to be as optimistic as possible. Because there is no way we want to move forward as a nation when we look at the startup ecosystem and not clearly identify what needs to be done differently. And what needs to be done differently here is what we've already started with. So when you look at the act itself, you would see that it's a joint collaboration, between the presidency and those within the, and the startup ecosystem at large. So that shows that is like a first step in ensuring that we can even come together as together to form like an understanding about what a startup act should look like, which we've already presented, and then we can now take it the next step, which has to do with robust implementation, which will still also require a lot of collaboration at every level, those within the civil society, industry associations, and necessary stakeholders that need to ensure that we can move this forward. So for us, that's the real work that needs to be done. But what I would also say is the fact that there's no way we would also want to do, achieve the level that we want to achieve what we aim to achieve based on what was the thinking behind, the Startup Act, and not, also talk about how this also impacts at state level. So that means that there's a lot of awareness and work that needs to be done to ensure that also states can key in, adopt, and ensure that, because when you look at startups, where do you find them? You find them in states. You don't just find them in Aso Rock, right? You find them in states. So that means that a lot of these states need to, also key into this vision as much as possible to ensure that they can also come up with innovative ways of improving or of improving on areas around, policy for startups. So that's the way I would also look at it.
That was a great answer. Let's go on a break. So far, we've touched a lot on the bill. So when we come back, we'll be wrapping up today's episode. Be right back.
Hey guys, welcome into the Metaverse on Crypto TV Plus. In today's video, we're going to be taking a portal into the Toyoverse. Now, what is the Toyoverse all about? Let's find out. Founded in 2021 by Ramil El Tawil and Mickey Hong, Toyo is a play-to-earn fighting game built on Polygon blockchain with strategic gameplay and NFT collectibles or tokens as rewards. In this metaverse game, users make use of NFT action figure characters, body parts, and item ownership to fight.
Don't get stuck in the past. Get all the latest news and happenings on blockchain and cryptocurrency, only on Crypto TV Plus.
Hello, my name is Chiki and I'm the Bull of the Bull.
Keep watching Crypto TV Plus.
Don't touch that dial. Peace.
Welcome back. We are still talking about the impact of the startup bill in the crypto space and blockchain space. And we've had an interesting conversation with Mr. Chukwuemeka and with Mr. Victor, who joined virtually. We're wrapping up right now, so if you missed out on the first and second segment of today's episode, make sure to check Crypto TV Plus, to watch it from the beginning. Now, do you think, Chukwuemeka, this is for you, the bill will position the crypto market and the blockchain ecosystem for a more friendly and flexible environment to trade cryptocurrencies, build blockchain projects, and fasten the adoption process of blockchain technology? And how do you think this will affect regulation of crypto in Nigeria?
So, yeah, thank you for that question. So the bill is just a paper, and they've shown that, they can actually write. So now the people behind the bill, it's now what's the passion to ensure that the implementation starts seeing effect and start carrying people along. It's not about the bill. The bill, we have a lot of bills in Nigeria, a lot of bills, But the problem now is the people behind the bill, the institution behind the bills. What would be the interest to take this as a selfless to see the implementation to fulfillment, collaborate with the right parties to ensure that this starts getting some traction? Like then we will not say, seeing little traction from the bill would give some confidence to the ecosystem to say this will be a boost to maybe the regulators bringing out more friendly policies to help the ecosystem. The bill has not stopped CBN from the ban on commercial bank giving facilitation to crypto exchanges localized.
That's another story.
You get that. So the bill is one thing. The people behind the bill, the institutions behind the bill, being able to put out a selfless kind of implementation approach to collaborate with the right partners to ensure that these bills come to life. Giving the ecosystem the right publicity also, partnering with like Crypto TV Plus to see that the implementation process has some transparency and give it the courage for people to be to bring out their self to say, we trust the government to implement this right. Because currently now, I see people sign, I see people talk about it, I read about it, but the people behind it and the pushing a collaboration approach, I don't know what it is. So yeah, the bill is one thing, but the people, the institution behind it, the transparency to see that this becomes more impactful, to see more startup thrive in the ecosystem is something else. So until we start seeing some collaboration, traction, some transparency, some media boost, to see these people come out, talk to the ecosystem, have that communication channels to make it more transparent, I think then I could say that, yeah, we'll see a positive impact to the ecosystem.
Amazing. And just to add to what you said, I just feel like if you are moving into a tech-forward economy, I think you should use the, instruments and the equipment that they have in the tech space.
Yes.
Looking into the startup bill, we saw the council of people,
yeah,
a body of people with a certain level of concentration and centralization of power, and we just hope, that everything.
We're positive about it.
Yes,
so,
let's just be optimistic. And Victor, before you go, in foresight, where do you see the future of the tech space, the blockchain space, in the context of adoption, regulation, and education?
Okay, so for me, I think what I envision for the coming years is I see a tech space that would, improve in areas around growth. And this would be, engineered by the level of innovation and also regulation that would actually come in place. Also, what I would see is, or what I would love to see is, I would love to see, more crypto companies or more crypto-focused, companies grow from being early stage, startups to more or less become unicorns in their own might. I see that happening, but that means that there needs to be like a deliberate attempt from governments ensuring that they can bank on what they've started right now to focus, on this set of startups to ensure that, and when I mean focus here is ensuring that they create the enabling environment using this set of regulatory instruments to improve on the standards of how they do business, either from the registration of their business, even to ensuring that they create certain funds, like for instance, the seed fund that you have in the Startup Act. So I would love to see more of startups in this form grow into becoming unicorns, where we can also become a large employer of labor, especially when you look at the crypto ecosystem.
Thank you, Victor. Chukwuemeka, before we go, what are your final words context of the Startup Bill?
Well, the context of the Startup Bill, I would say a lot of vibes, and we've seen it. People are happy about it. We've seen a lot of positive comments. But it goes to say that we hope that this won't just end here, because we've seen a lot of announcements by NEPSA building a blockchain stuff with this community. We've had a lot of announcements by the government. We've seen SEC wants to bring out a regulation with SiBAN not also regulating the space, but SEC wants to regulate. So we want to see more. We hope that the institutions will be more in synergy with themselves to ensure that they first get their house together before bringing out the effectiveness of this bill in fulfillment. But it's a good start. But I said they also need to look at the global practice and see what has boosted India, what has boosted North America, what has boosted Asia, and be serious with what they want to implement. Because sometimes the bill is just a paper, but we need more serious-minded people who see 5, 10, 20 years ahead. The crypto ecosystem has survived without so much support from the government, and a lot of people are going offshore to get the support they need without the government. So how do you make us trust the government, come back home, and believe that the government will not kill this business? Because I see that the business die here naturally, because there's no lots of support. So we hope people get serious about what they say they will do and implement it seriously. They should look at what their global part. There's nothing new yet. A lot of countries have built friendly systems to make sure that their tech ecosystem becomes one of the world's best, So I think they should be serious, learn from those guys and be serious and look at 5, 10, 20 years, and we'll know that Nigeria will be great. We're happy to be involved in it.
Amazing. It's a step forward to greatness, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Fingers crossed. We are optimistic on the growth of the blockchain and the crypto space. Thank you, Mr. Victor, for joining in today. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you, Mr. Chukwuemeka, for joining in today.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Yeah. And that will be all on today's program. You can get more market updates and all the happenings captured within the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency on our website, cryptotvplus.com. Follow us on all our social media and platforms at CryptoTV Plus to get daily info on our programs. Thank you for staying with us. I am Faith Ekwari. I'll see you next week.